views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Phoenix, Arizona. Brother Mike is back on the radio. Welcome to HardcoreChristianity.com. Thank you for your time. You are about to hear the nastiest Christian radio broadcast in the history of Christianity. You're going to hear the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and we don't care who likes it. You don't care who likes it. In fact, nobody cares. And that's the way we like it. Welcome to the program. Today's Bible study, Gospel Movies, Religion's Next Big Thing. Hey, will you call somebody and tell them the radio program's on? It's going to be an interesting one today. Controversial as usual. And this is Brother Mike. I'm the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center in Central Phoenix. We're on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. The website, hardcorechristianity.com. All of our services are listed there. You can join us on our social media pages, Hardcore Christianity and Blessings. Blessings is an interesting page. It has truckloads of miracles that God has performed at the Deliverance Center. You can find one of the stories of a person being healed and send them to somebody who has a similar illness. And it will be a great blessing to them and give them hope that they can be healed too. Don't forget to sign up for the free seminar at the end of May off the website. And we have two services live, 7 p.m. Thursdays and 7 p.m. Fridays. I teach on Fridays for my radio listeners. And all the services we have always have a deliverance service, a healing service, preaching and teaching of God's holy word at every service. Don't forget about Sister Karen on the homepage of the website. She'll be happy to list your house for you. And don't forget about the PayPal button and send us another donation. We get a lot of donations off the radio program. Most of the donations are small ones, $25, $50, $75, $100. And that works out perfect for us, because I don't take a salary for the ministry. I never have. I've been on the radio for 16 years and never took one penny in salary. So all the money that comes in is always spent on the gospel needs of the ministry. Thank you for all your help. Gospel movies. Man, that's the new thing in religion. And as you know, I am a trendsetter on this radio program. I do topical stories literally every week. And this is one of them. I am also a predictor of future events on this radio program. I've predicted many things over the years, and they have come true. Many of them I predicted did not come exactly true as I predicted, but in general, they did come true. And this is the next one. Religion is going to start embracing now Christian movies, so to speak. And I use your term Christian very loosely. Christian movies that are going to be extremely popular, and Hollywood is going to take notice of, and they are going to start pumping out Christian movies like crazy. And it all started, as you know, a few years ago with the Passion, Mel Gibson's movie of the crucifixion, the arrest, the murder by the Romans and the Jews, and the crucifixion of the Lord Jesus Christ, the Son of God. He's got another one coming out. I think it's on the resurrection. Recently, the Apostle Paul movie came out, and so on. But check out these numbers. They're unheard of for Christian-type movies. And a Christian-type movies, a movie that's a Christian-based type movie is just really a movie that has kind of Christian themes in it. Good movies that have good thoughts, good ideas, put forth a good message, goodness over badness, winning over losing, that kind of thing. For example, these movies came out just recently. The Star grossed $38 million. The Case for Christ grossed $14 million. The Shack, $57 million. $57 million. I can only imagine that's the most recent one that came out. That thing was, for Christian purposes, a blockbuster. It took in $40 million. It was a number 2 movie, grossing movie the weekend it came out, and it was extremely powerful. And it had a very good message, as you can imagine. There was a lot of good things in it. The goodness was there. It It was a great movie about, forgiveness. I recommended the movie to people. A lot of churches all over the United States rented out entire movie theaters for their people, and they all went to see that movie. And it was a good movie, had a good message. There was a lot of goodness in there. Good, 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 good. It was all goody two shoes. Now you can see there's money in goodness and Christian movies. There's money in it because these Christian movies, with the exception of Mel Gibson's movies on Christ, these movies I just mentioned to you, they don't cost that much to make by Hollywood standards. They're extremely cheap. $1 million, 1.2 million, 1.5 million, maybe 2 million. So the investors are being attracted to these Christian movies because of the low overhead. And from a percentage standpoint, the high return. That movie, I can only imagine, killed it at the box office. Took in over $40 million, but only cost about $1 million to make. And they don't use superstar actors, so they don't have to pay them $50 to $100 million for the movie, like a Tom Cruise thing. And the movies are popular. There's a market for goodness and goody things, and it's lucrative. And as you know, money is the greatest god in the history of the world by far. And if something makes money, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. For example, they interviewed Jim Caviezel, the guy that played Jesus in The Passion of the Christ. He was also in Paul, the Apostle of Christ, and he made an interesting statement in the interview. Listen to this, quote, "Someday when I'm gone, this will be passed on. Films live forever." And some of these actors who are fond of Christ or are Christian wannabes, I'm not going to say they're actually born again Christians because they're probably not. You can't be in Hollywood and make movies if you're a born again Christian. You can't do that kind of thing. The movies are too corrupt and too evil and too filthy. But some people are Jesus fans and they like him and they like his message and they want to go to heaven, or they want to do something for God, maybe for guilty reasons or different reasons. There's 100 different reasons why people serve God. Many of them are not legitimate, obviously. But this guy here, Caviezel, apparently he's a good guy and he's a fan of Jesus. So he likes making these Jesus movies. And he just said there that he wants to be a part of something that goes on forever. The problem with these Christian movies are obvious. Number one, true Christianity embraces the New Testament and the Old Testament as divinely inspired. True Christianity focuses mostly on the four Gospels because that is the life of Christ. The four Gospels are the most important books and the most popular books ever written in the history of humanity, and the most important material in those four books are the pages, the verses, the paragraphs written in red. If they're written in red, if you happen to have a red letter edition of the Bible, those are the most important words ever spoken or ever written in the history of humanity, because it is God himself talking to us directly. And in the Old Testament, Jehovah never revealed his personality, his true personality. He revealed features of it, his anger, his judgment, his love, his compassion, but his personality was never revealed completely in the Old Testament. In the New Testament, Yahweh, or Jehovah's personality, is revealed for all to see, and that personality is printed in red letters in your New Testament. You cannot know Yahweh or Jehovah. You cannot get to know him. You cannot understand him without Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and without the words printed in red. These Christian movies that are coming out, like the ones I just mentioned, are also a tool of Satan because they give people biblical facts that are not in the Bible. Some of these movies are inherently dishonest, like The Shack, for example. That thing was a certified demonic farce that got past everybody because it had positive or good themes in it. These Christian movies play very loose with the gospel and very loose with Christian truth. And so the people that go see these movies, which are your typical churchgoer and your typical megachurch parishioner, these people don't read the Bible themselves. They only get spoon-fed the Bible by others. They can't pray themselves, so they always get on a prayer chain. They can't talk to God themselves, so they run around looking for somebody to give them a word. They don't have a personal relationship with God, which is the Greek word koinonia, so they have to get it through other people, and now they're getting it through movies. Also, these movies are fantasies. Okay, that's exactly the danger of it. They play on your psychology. They show ridiculous coincidences. They have absurdities in the movie that are not real or like normal humanity. And people look at these movies and they get a distorted view of what Christianity is like and what it actually happens in the real world. If we use these Christian films as a vessel for our biggest or our main truths, what we're doing is we're just caving into our culture's unfortunate trend of doing its most important discourse through entertainment. These movies are basically entertainment venues to make money. What do you need to do? When you go see one of these Christian movies, you need to be well versed in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You need to be well versed in the glorious gospel of Christ and the epistles, so that you can see through the lies and the false presentations in these Christian entertainment films, so that you and your other born-again Christians at your churches don't get deceived and don't get a skewed view of Christianity through these fantasy entertainment religious films. You've got to be extremely careful. In other words, what am I trying to say? You need to pray for the gift of discerning of spirits before you go to the movies. See you next time.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.